Hello, gore horrors and fellow Deadites, and welcome to Our Life in Horror. We are a horror movie podcast with a gore-filled side of news, physical media, and everything spooky. My name is Brendan, a horror addict since birth, and with me always is my horror queen, Sam.
Hi guys, we are Our Life in Horror. You can find us on Instagram, TikTok, and X, and our email is ourlifeinhorror@hotmail.com. We're also on Patreon where we do the occasional bonus episode, after hours shows always. And we have a Discord where we all chat. Thank you for our subscribers, Sean, Miki, Bo, AJ, Rob, and Kayla. Today we're with Prince from Nightlight Podcast. How you doing?
Hello, I'm doing good. How are you?
Good. I'm glad that you came on. We've had this in the works for a little bit.
We definitely have. I remember y'all hit me up last year, actually. It's been a whole year in the making. So I definitely appreciate y'all having me on, and this is going to be a lot of fun. Going to talk
Yeah.
about some pretty dope film that I'm very excited to chat about.
I'm pumped that you picked this one, actually.
Yeah,
Before we start, though, can you let everyone know where to find you and talk about your
Yeah,
podcast a little bit?
absolutely. Yeah, so you can find me on a specific podcast called Nightlight, a horror movie podcast. It's Night with a K if you're searching out for it. Um, That's mainly where you can hear my voice, but I've done a lot of other things in the horror space that you can also see me on. I've been on Dead Meat. I've been on a few documentaries that are coming out later this year. So a lot of great stuff that you'll be able to also see me a part of as well. You can also find me on Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it nowadays, at the Head Knight, also with a K.
Awesome.
awesome. I'm a big fan. I've been listening to you guys for like, I don't know, 3 or 4 years.
Yeah, he's very excited
Holy
for
shit, that's
this.
awesome.
Yeah.
I
That's
mean,
amazing. Well, thank you
I was
so much.
excited, but he was
Yeah.
excited.
When you guys posted that you guys were looking for a guest, I don't know, it must have been a while ago, but I'm like, and Sam was like, "Do you want me to like tweet at him?" I'm like, "Yes," like immediately, like get
Let
that out
someone else
there.
beat us.
Yep.
Yeah,
Um,
I believe I remember that too. Yeah, it was super last minute, and then someone just hopped right on in as soon as y'all did it. It was just a first come first serve. But that does not mean that we don't have spots open. So like we could definitely make something happen for sure to get y'all on the show. That would be a lot of fun.
oh, I'd love it.
That would be a lot of fun.
So we typically start by asking our guest if you've been watching anything recently. So this week, have you watched any films other than opera?
Yeah. I don't know when this episode's going to be released, but I watched a movie called Infested that's going to be coming out on
Oh,
Shudder later this month. Um, Intense, like really, really intense. A lot of fun. It is a just for folks who aren't aware of what it is about this guy who gets a hold of this spider that is very rare. They have no idea what kind of spider it is, but you can tell like it's a dangerous spider. Like, so no clue on what it is. I assume what the spider actually is. I assume it was a wolf spider just because of how the nature of the spider was, but um it attacks people and it is very in tune to Darwinism, so it evolves extremely fast to its environment. So since it evolves extremely fast to an environment, you can kind of suspect that it's trying to overtop its predator to become a predator of its own predator. It's a little weird, but it's really good. It's really, really good. It reminds me of like take Wreck, Evil Dead Rise, and add spiders.
that
okay.
sounds awesome.
It is pretty intense. It is a lot of fun though. It's French, and I wouldn't say it's like French extremity, but it you can tell it leans in. It leans in pretty close to some French extremity moments as well. A lot of great like French hip hop in it too, so a lot of fun just listening to it too. But Infested is one I would highly suggest keep on your list. That is out later this month on Shutter. I would highly, highly, highly suggest that one. It is really good.
You definitely
Really
sold
good.
that. I know we saw an article for when it was coming out, and I love the French extremity movies. So as soon as I saw it was French, I was like, please lean into that. So
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you get moments for sure that are leaned into there. This is also going to be the new director of the new Evil Dead spinoff.
yeah.
Yeah.
So Yeah, I don't know how to say his last name, but his first name's Sebastian. So
Awesome. I'm definitely gonna see that as soon as it comes out.
Same.
yeah.
It's been a while since we've gotten a good like bug horror movie.
Hmm.
Yeah. Did you guys watch Sting? I know they did like a
No.
little thing for
No,
AMC. Okay. Yeah,
yeah.
that's out, I think on the 12th, April 12th, something like that. I thought it was just okay. It had the effects were fantastic in that movie, but Infested was way better.
Okay.
So if you're gonna choose a bug movie to watch, and you're just like, I kind of feel like just watching one. Infested is the one you should watch.
Okay, okay. Good to know. Did you
Yeah,
have anything else?
I do. Yeah. Besides the film that we're talking about today, I also watched Paranormal Activity 4 recently. We're doing a huge Paranormal Activity month right now on Nightlight. And we are covering all of the films except for the last one, Next of Kin. And it is something. It is something. It's a ride. It's a ride. Paranormal Activity 1, obviously fantastic. 2, 3, great. 4 is where you're in that moment where you're just like, all right. We could see we're getting to the point where we should have just stopped. But I'm still having a lot of fun with it. We're having a lot of fun talking about these as well, and they're doing pretty well. They're a lot of fun to kind of see other people react to them and reminisce about these movies and things like that. So I'm having a blast with those. But those are the main two that I feel like I've watched. I've been watching a lot of anime lately. One in particular is Solo Leveling, which is incredible and it mixed horror so well that it can't even believe how well it does it. Literally the first episode is so horror driven that you just seek more, and it is so intense. It's extremely gory. It's super gross. It is fantastic. Solo Leveling. So I would say if you're gonna watch anything and you're trying to binge something, that's the one to do.
Okay. Did you watch anything this week?
I watched the finale of Invincible.
Oh, right.
Nice.
Yes,
Nice.
I
I need
love
to
that
watch that
show.
too.
Oh, the last episode's good. I don't think the
Okay.
second season's quite as strong as the first, but I think it's still pretty good.
Okay. Yeah, I watched the first half and then they went on that hiatus and I
Yeah.
haven't caught back up since then. So I gotta hop back in.
Yeah, they kind of bring back like elements that you kind of almost forget about in the past episodes. Like the first
Got it.
episode was all about this side character, and then he finally kind of
Right.
reappears at the end of the whole season. And I was like,
Oh,
oh, okay. I guess
interesting.
he's here again. Okay.
This is the one that was played by Seth Rogen, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, it was like the alien or something. Yeah,
yeah.
okay.
Alan the alien.
Alan the alien. There
Yeah.
we go. It was funny. I was saying that in my head. I was just like, I don't think that's right though. But yeah, Alan the alien.
Other than that, I don't think I watched anything else. I'm trying to look at my movie stack here. Did I talk about The Endless last week?
I think so. Yeah,
Yeah,
you did.
I think I did too. Yeah, I haven't
It's a
watched
great
anything
movie.
else.
I watched no movies this week, except we had a watch party last night for Slumber Party Massacre 2.
Right.
So we watched that.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Good
I
flick.
uh I like the first one better. I do have to say that was a first time watch for us last night. I didn't mind this one. It was fun, but the first one was still a lot better, I think.
Yeah,
I agree.
I wish they had
I
more of
agree.
the killer guy. Like I wish he was
Yeah, the
in it
guitar.
more. Yeah, because he was just wicked to watch. And he was just killing it on screen. And I ended up falling asleep in my own stream.
Yeah, you did our watch party and he dozed off.
Yes.
Someone
Now
else
you know
did
it's a
too.
real party.
Yeah.
Someone else from the UK. It was like midnight there, and he fell asleep because he stopped responding. He didn't have his camera on though, thank God. But we're like, I think he's asleep because we all exited the stream and he was still hanging in
He's
there.
still there. That's great. That's
That's
how
so
you know
funny.
they're taking that slumber part
Yeah.
to the whole nother level.
We picked an upbeat, fun movie too, but
I know, it just couldn't hold my attention near the end.
oh,
It took
that's
too
so
long for
Oh,
the
funny.
good stuff to happen.
Yeah, that's funny.
yeah,
I was
slumber
too
part.
focused on the food.
The second one definitely takes a little bit to ramp up. Did you see the remake?
Yes.
Yes, I did
Yeah.
like it.
Yeah, I did too. I liked it a little bit too. I thought it kept that same minutia that the first one had. So
Mhm.
I was a fan, definitely a fan.
I like that they reversed the roles too. They had like the guy showering and stuff.
Yeah, the guy
Yes.
pillow fight. Yeah.
It's funny.
It's amazing.
What's next? Oh, we get right into horror news then.
Yes, and I did not pick out trailers this week because it was a long weekend last weekend, so my work schedule was all over the place, and I did not have time.
I
So
feel
we,
that.
yeah, so like we'll work like 4 10s the week before, and then we'll have the Monday or the Friday and the Monday off, and then
Oh, okay.
sometimes this week we'll do like two 9.5s to make up for the lost hour that we had, and then we didn't,
Right.
and then it was just a kerfuffle all week and drama filled.
Oh, jeez.
Oh yeah, somebody got fired at work.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
damn. All right.
I'm a construction worker, so I work with like a bunch of colorful characters. We'll say.
I believe it. I believe it. Some folks probably having hissy fits. I can only imagine.
Oh yeah. But with that being said, we'll get into some news. So we got NECA just released a life-size Megan doll that can be purchased for $500 US.
Yeah, they posted that on April Fools, didn't they? And people thought it was
They
a joke.
did.
Is it
Yeah,
real?
some people definitely made it weird. It is real.
Oh,
It is
okay.
real. Yeah, so it is real.
The comments were weird,
But
right?
the comments were definitely a little weird for sure. I
Did you
was like,
not
all
look
right,
at
guys.
them?
No, I didn't look at any of the
People were
comments.
just commenting on if like an older man were to buy it because it's like a
Yeah,
little, it got weird.
it got
That's
weird
all I'm
real
gonna
quick.
say.
Oh,
Yeah,
I can definitely see that.
yeah, it was something like one person posted like a meme. It was just like NECA seeing the receipt from a guy named Ron who's in his 50s or something like that. It's just like, oh geez.
Ew.
Shout out to the Rons. I don't know.
My dad's name is Ron.
Oh no.
That's so much worse.
Oh no.
Sorry, Dad. He doesn't listen. Okay, sorry, you can
No,
continue.
it's okay. Let me see. Joker fully a deuce, starring Lady Gaga and Joaquin Phoenix, and Alien Romulus have both been rated R.
R. Nice.
Happy about that. Happy about
Yeah,
that.
Yeah.
same. So that means they'll be only like rated like 14A here in Canada.
Yeah.
We have such like a laxed rating system, it's insane.
Mhm.
Really?
Oh yeah. Like Money the Pooh Blood and Honey was 18A.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah, but like every other one, like I think Evil Dead Rise that was rated R in the States was rated
It was.
14A
Yeah.
here in Canada. So if you as long as you're a 14-year-old, you can go see it.
Yep.
Sick. That's
Yeah, oh,
awesome.
yeah.
That's amazing.
Like I don't think I've ever seen a rated R movie in Canada.
Yeah, I can't think of one off the top of my head, to be honest.
Yeah.
Really? Was
Yeah.
Evil Dead 2013 at least rated R? Or I
Wait,
guess 18?
that one might have been. That one might have been.
Because we had an NC-17 rating for that, and then they dropped it down to an R to
Okay.
take off just a little bit of fluff from it, which wasn't by much. It definitely was not by much, but
Yeah.
just was curious.
I'll have to go back and look at it because I do remember when
Yeah.
that came out and I was 19 and I went and saw it opening night, but I don't
I
remember if
did
it was
see it
rated
back then.
rated R
You
or
Yeah.
showed
not.
me that movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm. So since this will be dropping on Monday, the Maxine trailer drops today,
Oh, yeah.
which
Yes.
we clearly have not seen yet, but
Yes.
I've seen pieces. I've gotten emails, but I haven't seen the whole
Okay.
thing. I've just seen a
Okay.
couple
Okay.
clips. So we're in
How's
for a
it?
treat. We're in
Okay.
for a
Okay.
treat.
where's
I'm excited to see
the
the whole thing.
what's it leaning more towards? Does it mean like leaning more towards Pearl, or is it leaning more towards like X?
It's its own
And
thing. So this definitely feels more more a little bit more towards X in the terms of exploitative. Um, but yeah, it's just its own thing. But I would say if I had to choose one, I would say more towards X from what I've
okay,
seen. from what I've seen. I didn't see much. It was like a 20-second clip. So,
Okay.
but from that clip alone, it seems like they're going to lean a little bit more towards the exploitative type of kind of like, I guess, more towards X, something like
Okay.
that.
Okay, perfect.
I like that.
Yeah, same. Let me see. Russell Crowe gives an update on The Pope's Exorcist 2, stating that the
Sick.
well, it might get better because stating that the original producers planned a trilogy, but there's been a change of studio leads, so nothing is for certain at the moment. But it could be a trilogy or more.
I didn't see the first one.
I did.
I forgot about it.
Crow on moped. Let's do it. Pastor Crow on moped. I'm down.
Yeah. Yeah, I
More
liked it.
Vespas, please. I dug it. I thought it was fine. It wasn't great, but the effects were actually fantastic in there, though. I was actually quite shocked at how well done the effects were.
Yeah, the effects I liked how the kid was just kind of like just a crazy villain kid. And he just like
Yeah.
would swear out of it, like he'd just say the most vulgar shit to his mom.
I'll have to watch it before the next one comes out for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Directors Jen and Sylvia Soka, directors of Rabid American Mary and See No Evil 2, have a new movie coming to Tubi, quote unquote, being a direct sequel to George Romero's Night of the Living Dead that will follow the grandchildren of the film's main character. The film will be titled Festival of the Living Dead. This is set to release on April 5th.
I saw a trailer today. I saw a trailer today and I put it on my watch list already.
You don't even like zombie movies.
But it looks good. It looks good. I actually didn't even watch the whole trailer. I just right away put it on my phone on the watch list.
That's awesome.
Yeah, okay.
That's awesome. Yeah. The Soska sisters, they make some interesting stuff.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yes.
Yes, they do.
Yeah.
Sam got me the Bonesaw replica from them. That was
Yeah.
American Mary.
Yeah. It was
Yeah.
on their Etsy shop.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's
American
cool.
Mary was good. I like the Rabbit remake as well.
I did too.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was a fan of that
Um
as well.
and I haven't seen See No Evil too.
I haven't seen that one actually.
Yeah.
Now that I think about it, no, I haven't seen that one either.
I remember the first one though, so that was about it.
Hmm.
Let's see. Hellraiser 2 producer Keith Levine states that a sequel from the original Hulu smash hit, directed by David Bruckner, is in the works, and Bruckner may return.
Oh, that is news to me. All right. He's doing the Blob right now. So,
Yes.
yeah, I was chatting with him last month and he's Blob's coming along pretty well. So, looking forward to that. But
You're
didn't know
you're
he's coming
talking
back
to
for Hellraiser 2.
you're talking to David Bruckner? Like just
Oh
casually?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
We
Yeah,
have
David's
so many
awesome.
questions in the after
David's
hours.
awesome.
Yeah.
That's
Damn.
awesome.
Just name dropping. I love it. I love David Bruckner's work. He's great.
He's great. He's great. Have you guys saw The Signal, one of his first ones?
No, we started with the
Oh,
Night House.
Night House. Okay. All right.
Yes, which was
Amazing.
terrifying. Like
Yeah,
So
I like that
good.
one.
that movie got
So
under my
good.
skin.
And
Mhm.
I assume y'all went backwards and saw The Ritual as well.
I had seen that one already. Yep.
Got it. Awesome. Yeah. I would say check out The Signal. That one came in around 2006, 2007, was made with like him and a group of friends. Super bare bones, but so well done. A
Okay.
fantastic anthology.
Okay.
Okay.
Cool.
Awesome. And then last for the news, all I have are physical media releases. So we'll start out with Arrow Video. We'll be releasing Mute Witness on 4K in June.
Okay. I don't know what that is.
Yes. It's
I'm
so good.
Yeah.
It's a sleeper hit, 1995, about this woman who's mute and she witnesses someone creating a snuff film. She works on sets, and someone when they're done with the set, she hears someone downstairs and they're creating a snuff film downstairs. She witnesses it, and then it's a amazing chase after all of that. It is
Okay.
fantastic. That's the first 15 minutes.
Oh, damn.
Okay,
Okay.
I'm putting that on my
That's the
watch
first
list right
15
now.
minutes. Mute Witness. Yeah, highly suggest checking that one out.
Okay. I haven't seen it yet either, actually.
Yeah.
MVD will be releasing Ghoulies 2 in 4K after they just released it on Blu-ray last year.
Okay.
Yep.
A little bit of the double dip in there, but
There
okay.
we go. Oh man, that would have been amazing if that was the subtitle. Ghoulies 2 Double Dip.
Have you seen those movies?
I have.
Yeah, I haven't gotten around to them yet. I have them
Yeah,
downstairs, but
it's knockoff Gremlins. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, it's fun. They're fun. Nothing to do with what you see on the covers because you literally the cover is like a ghoulie in the toilet and it's like peeping out of the toilet. It's just like there's nothing really there. You just kind of wanted that scene.
Does
So yeah, Ghoulies is fun. I like the Ghoulies. Yeah, it's
All right, I'm
fun.
gonna have to check it out. And then my last piece of physical media news is from Scream Factory. It has announced its June lineup, even though most people thought it was an April Fool's joke. But the RoboCop remake is going to be coming to 4K. RoboCop 2 will be coming to 4K, as well as Species 2 and The Matinee.
Nice.
It's quite the lineup. Everybody was just pissed about RoboCop. It's just a huge waste of time. Everybody goes.
I haven't
I
seen it.
mean,
I, I I thought it was okay. I think I saw
that
it
was
in
fine.
theaters. Yeah, like
That was fine. I mean, for Arrow, or is it Arrow that's doing this one,
Scream
or
Factory.
Shop Factory, Screen Factory? Okay, I mean, it's a paycheck. You know,
Yeah. Oh, exactly.
it's a paycheck. There you go.
All right, we'll get into our game. We're going to play two truths and a lie. I came up
Ooh.
with two. So my first one's on Dario Argento. I don't know how knowledgeable you guys are, so you guys might get it right away, but so I'm going to say three facts, and you're going to try and guess which one is the lie. So the
Okay.
first one, he would rather see a beautiful woman die on screen than an ugly girl or man. He has a 20-year-old black cat named Lieb, and he was born in Amsterdam but moved to Italy at the age of 2.
I'm gonna say the third one is a lie.
Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna say the first one is a lie.
Okay. The third one, he's from born in Italy, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
I wasn't sure if I'd throw you off or not,
No, you got me.
but
I know nothing about Argento, so
I love Argento.
okay, so there you
I'm
go.
a, I'm a huge Argento fan.
This was our first from him.
yep,
Yeah. We've been wanting to
Your
get
first film ever
Yeah,
yep.
we've
of
been
Dario
wanting to get
Argento?
into it, but so thank
Oh
you for
my
doing this first.
God. Yes. With my favorite one first, too. Oh my God. I feel honored.
Yeah, I'm excited to talk about it.
Oh my God.
So my next one is Christina Marcelash. She's the one that stars in opera. Not sure if I said her last name right, but so my three facts are she debuted at the age of 13 in a TV series. She's an Italian actress, and she was the artistic director of the Marcelash Acting Academy.
I think it's the second one. I think she's German.
Okay.
Huh. I'll go with the third one.
Okay, it's the second one, but she's Spanish.
She's Spanish. Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
You're good.
Two for two.
Can't fool him. All right, we're gonna get into the movie then. Opera.
Sweet.
All right, let me get my stuff together here. So, a hooded figure forces a young diva to watch as he murders performers in a production of Verdi's opera Macbeth. This has a 6.9 on IMDb and a 90% on Rotten Tomatoes. Release date is December 19th, 1987 in Italy. Director Dario Argento. And it's starring Christina Marcelash. So, spoiler-free thoughts. What do you guys think of this movie?
Hate it. I love this movie. I think this movie's honestly just downright fantastic. It is so jarring for a movie from the 80s. Well, it came out in the 80s in Italy, but in the States it came out in the 90s. So I think this is just it was such a jarring movie to come out during this time, extremely gory. Like what other movie during the 80s that was in this, I guess, repertoire of Italian cinema, can you see someone just getting completely like brutally massacred in the middle of a stage floor with a knife? Like it's absolutely incredible. The gore is incredible. It's very Argento with how weird it is of this guy who is forcing this person to watch and things like that. Um, really cool. I guess not necessarily references, but kind of to the movie Perfect Blue as well, which is a animated film that is also about a fan who is obsessed with a singer. So some really cool callbacks to that. So it's really really cool. I love this movie though. I think it's just very very well done. It has that Argento cheese to it, where it's the awkwardness of the dubbing. He does that in almost all his movies. He doesn't have to, but he does it. And it's just something special about this one. Like the way how it works with Macbeth and the operatic singing, and then it kind of tones itself into a completely different musical number if you want, to it being just heavy metal. And Dario Argento's a huge fan of like heavy metal and hair metal. So he's puts all of that into his films, and it's glorious. But you just get that intertwine of that mixture of that, and it was really really well done. And I love what what happens, I guess, in these forceful moments, and probably one of the best scenes until 2003 Texas Chainsaw Massacre of a gun going through someone's eye is this one right here. 1987. Holy shit, you wouldn't even thought about that. Like that this is great. To me this is a masterpiece. Like I think opera is just so incredibly well done. So
Oh,
happy
yeah.
this is the first Dario Argento movie y'all got to watch.
Yeah.
I'm happy it wasn't Suspiria. I love Suspiria, but I'm happy it wasn't.
I want to see that one. We haven't even seen the remake either,
No.
but
Ooh,
we'll get to
yeah.
it.
Yeah.
The
I've
remake's
been
long, but yeah.
Yeah.
I know I've been trying to like slowly collect all those movies because I know like Blue Underground did a lot of them. So I have a bunch of
Yeah.
them downstairs, but this was just the one I didn't pick up. I haven't seen anybody selling it, but I have a bunch of them, and then once I got like majority of them, I was just gonna like binge them. But
Yes.
I'm
Way
ex
to do it.
I think this was a good introduction into an Argento film. I really liked it. I think a lot of the points you said I agree with. Um, yeah, it's a lot of fun. I
It
wouldn't even
is.
say it's quite a lot of fun. It's definitely like something that changes so much that it kind of keeps you on your toes,
Yeah.
like just tonally,
Mhm.
musically, visually. I think it's just really cool and very innovative. I really have some cinematography stuff to talk about that I really liked.
Yeah, I actually do too, and I don't usually have a lot for that category. The camera work is wild in this movie, and I also liked all the different music changes throughout. The beginning felt very, I don't know if busy is the right word. I watched it with headphones. So like there's
Mm,
lots of chatter going on and the
lots of
music
sounds.
and the camera's moving constantly and it's just like I don't know, it was almost like fascinating. I'm just like, what is going
Yeah.
on?
It's almost overstimulating. Like
Yes, exactly. Um, but yeah, it's got some good kills in it, which I always appreciate. Yeah, you've said a lot of points that I agree with too, so I don't have a whole lot more to say spoiler free, but we'll get into spoilers then so we can talk about this.
watch this movie, everybody.
All right, so we'll start off with describe this movie in 3 words. Prince, you want to go first?
Ooh, describe in 3 words. What the fuck?
Yeah.
Might be a little bit of a cop out, but it's just a lot of it leaves you with some questions sometimes, and you're
Mm.
just like the whole time you're just like, what the fuck is going on? So I think I'm gonna go with that one.
That's good. I actually said what the fuck out loud. I was watching part of it at work and I said what the fuck
Nice.
out loud with my headphones on and my sister looked at me. So that's a fitting 3 words. What you got, Brendan?
I got shot extremely well.
Oh yeah, that's
Mm.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about you?
My three words don't flow like your guys's. I said stylish, musical, and eyeballs.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Italians and their eyeballs. They love them.
Yeah. Who's your guys' favorite character?
Ooh. Hot take, the crows. Huge fan of the crows. Like I like the aspect of them using them correctly.
Hmm.
With like the crow handler and saying that like crows don't forget and they have vendettas and things like that, which is true. Crows don't forget and they do have vendettas. If you try to run over a crow, it supposedly remembers your car and it will poop on your car.
That's
So like,
wild.
Oh, wow.
so I I love that they utilize that and especially utilize it as a ploy to catch said killer as well. So the crows. I'm a huge fan of the crows, and it always a little hard for me to watch them grab the crows because I'm just like you could tell like it's a real crow that they're grabbing. But overall it is still like for me they are the pinnacle of what kind of makes this film just weird enough for me to be like, okay, Argento, but also just like tame enough for me to also be like, okay, what else are we gonna do with these crows? So
Yeah.
yeah, I'm a huge fan of the crows. I
Okay.
like the crows a
I
lot.
like that
I think they're
answer.
the
Yeah.
best character.
Awesome.
Okay.
Um, I liked the movie, but I had a hard time liking any of the characters, like to a point where they were my favorite. So I
Sure.
actually went with the stage manager slash kind of her boyfriend in the beginning.
Okay.
Just thought he was sweet and like cheesy.
He also has one of the best kills. So
Exactly. Yeah, he does.
Yeah. Okay. I put down Betty
Okay.
just because, well, A, she's the lead, and I can come up with such a cool answer as the crows. So, but Betty's good. I think the amount of pressure that's thrown at her, and she still manages like to get up on stage and to do her piece, even though she doesn't want to. But then she kind of falls into this peer pressure of doing it, which is unfortunate. And she says right from the beginning that Macbeth is a cursed play or musical, sorry. And then as soon as she does it, all this bad stuff seems to happen to her. But then she overcomes it all by the end of it. Right?
Hmm.
So I liked Betty.
Okay. Did you guys have a least favorite character?
Ooh. Um, Probably the director. Like he sucked. Like like he was just weird. Like
Yeah.
you could tell like okay, this dude totally wants to like get in bed with this chick, but
Yeah.
at the same time, he was just like he just wasn't great. He also was kind of weird, which was cool because it allowed us to have a red herring and allowed us to kind of think of him potentially being the killer. Um this is very much in the vein of Giallo, where you are trying to figure out who the killer is and you're having all these stylistic kills and things like that. And typically it is usually the person who's closest to them. So this was a breath of fresh air to know that it wasn't, but I hated that director. I just thought I was like, dude, he seems like a sleaze. Like he was like, I don't know, like he looks like the type of person who would like sell grease in the alleyway or something. Like he was weird, dude. I didn't like that guy.
What? What
I,
about you?
I went with Mara.
Mara.
She
Oh,
she
that's
was
actually a good one.
she was the lead before Betty.
Yeah,
Oh,
she
She
yeah.
sucked
was
too.
yeah, she was horrible. She just goes out storming off, bitching about the
Kicking
crows.
crows.
Yeah, kicking the crows, and then she sends Betty the bottle and is like, "You snake," and it's like I don't know if it what it was in there, some kind of perfume of some kind, but
It almost looked like pee.
yeah, I was gonna say
It almost,
gasoline,
yeah,
Oh,
that or that. Yeah, yeah. It was definitely a interesting ember.
okay.
and she's not even in it for that long, but she was the only person I thought of. I'm like, oh, she's just nasty.
Okay.
Yeah,
This is gonna sound so horrible, but
Betty.
I didn't like Betty.
Okay.
She just bothered me a little bit. I don't know why I couldn't get on board with her.
Okay.
I don't even really have a solid answer as to why. She just kind bothered me a bit.
You're just like, yeah, this person wouldn't be my friend.
Yeah, exactly. No. And then also I put down she was the costume designer because she instead of going to help Betty, she wants to see who's under the mask. And I'm like,
Oh, that was
help the girl
amazing.
out. But yeah, Betty, unfortunately. What did you guys have for best acting?
This is tough because when it comes to these types of films, I feel like you have to take the acting with a grain of salt, only because
Hmm.
they're dubbed and it is it's hard to perceive who was the best acted, but if I were to probably choose one, I would probably say the director.
Okay.
He just seemed to match his lines easier than everyone else could, and he just kind of understood his own assignment. Um, Betty's character was she's a little like too dramatic,
That
if
might be
that makes
it.
sense. Yeah, a little too dramatic. And I feel like everybody else was just playing the part.
Mhm.
But I would say the director was the one who wasn't as like flamboyant as everyone else, and until the end, who's run, Betty, run for your life. Until that part, but to be honest, I don't think anyone's really that great acting in this movie.
Mm,
Truly the best, like, if we really want to talk about like best acting, it's probably the acting the camera's really doing.
yeah.
When we get those POV shots and things like that. Um, really, really great stuff. But maybe even the killer. So maybe the killer might be best actor, but kind of a cop out because killer didn't really need to talk that much. But yeah.
Yeah, I didn't really have an answer for this one either. I was thinking about it and I was like gonna say Alan to the police detective Urbano Bernini. I think.
Nailed it.
Yeah. I I like his little speeches near the end and how crazy and wild he got.
He does get wacky for sure.
Yeah, I like the over the top cheese for a villain near the end when they're giving their monologues and stuff. If they can get really into it, I'm sold.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fair.
I actually didn't write anyone down either, but Prince had a lot of valid points about the director not being so over the top, I guess. So I'll just agree with you.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'll
Um,
take it.
Score and soundtrack.
Oh, to me personally, 10 out of 10. I think it's amazing. I think the switch between the operatic music to the heavy metal is just so much fun. This is what Argento's known for. Like he's known for working with like the band Goblin. And usually they'll make like obviously work specifically for him, but this was more so just kind of things that were pieced together, kind of like what he did for Creepers, or Phenomenon, I guess is the actual name, but it was Creepers in the States. But for what he did for Phenomenon, where he just kind of grabbed like a bunch of like hair metal and heavy metal bands like Twisted Sister and stuff like that. But I think it works really well for what this movie's trying to portray, and what this movie's trying to do. And the whole thing itself feels like it's playing almost like an opera, which not sure if either one of you have sat through an opera before, but it is a very dramatic display of theatrics. And the music is very much telling this very painful story, at the same time, even if you don't understand the words of what they're saying, it is still trying to paint this picture that you can understand enough of by the visuals that are happening on screen. And I think that's what really stood out to me is the fact that the sound design and also the score itself meshed in together so beautifully to what was happening on visually on screen that it was hard to separate them. So anytime I think of like operatic music, the first thing that pops into my head is when the crows are attacking the audience members and trying to find the killer and things like that. So it's really cool to kind of see how all of that just meshed in together. And I'm a huge fan of it.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, some of it's like really jarring, the
It
switches,
is
because like
very
you'll
drawing.
you'll go from the the kill of we'll say the boyfriend at the start there. It goes like from like the hard rock like you were saying, and then it switches to like almost this dreamlike whimsical
Hmm.
when she's running out in the rain, and it's not even like horrifying, but it's like did that just happen as she's running? Like it almost seems like it's a dream. So
Right.
it just threw me right off like the entire movie. I love the we've never been to an opera.
No.
We've been to some musicals, but never
Nice.
an opera.
Yeah.
Y'all should go
Um,
to one. They're pretty fun. They're pretty fun. Very dramatic, but pretty fun.
I'd like to. Um, but yeah, I loved all the opera in it. And it just always reminds me of that Bugs Bunny episode growing up.
I
There,
know
you,
exactly what you're
I
talking
don't.
about.
I don't.
uh,
When he's dressed up in the suit, he's the conductor.
yep. Yeah, I can't believe I've never seen that.
Yeah, I don't. I don't think so.
Yeah. But I do really love the metal rock too, is like when it gets into the killing. That's pretty much the only time I think the rock comes out is when there's
Yep.
something horrific going on screen.
Mhm.
It's just the whimsical stuff just kind of threw me off for like a really good loop every time it came on. It just seemed like it was pulled from a different movie completely.
Yeah,
Not to say that it's
absolutely.
bad or it didn't work. It takes you a
It's
minute to
different.
register. Yeah, exactly
Yeah,
what's going on.
yeah.
But yeah, I liked it.
I actually really liked it too, and didn't think I was a big fan of opera music, but I actually really enjoyed it. And is there music constantly in this movie? Like, is there ever a scene where there's not music?
There's a few, but it's most of Argento's movies are like this,
Okay,
where
that was my next question.
there's constantly sound going on
Okay,
in his movies.
because I don't think I've watched a movie in a while where the music has been this like prominent, like,
Yeah.
Yeah,
but
it's like another character.
exactly,
And
yeah.
he likes to do this a lot where he likes to play visually. He likes to play with all sensories, right? So like visually you can kind of see what's going on and happening from his camera work and from the colors and things like that. And this is probably one of his most like more of his like paler movies. His movies are usually very vibrant, especially when it comes to the blood. Like the blood is usually kind of like you guys remember like samurai movies like from the 60s and 70s and things like that where they'll have very like blood blushing like it's like a water hose and it's just like just going like nuts. Kill Bill is probably the best example of that. But he would use kind of that same exact type of paint where it would be very red and very vibrant. And this is a very dark and very dull compared to his other movies. So he's very much like this painter of sensory and loves to just play with so many pieces of sound, music, destruction, bodily destruction. So it's a really, really cool way for him to uh place us into the story as well. And I love it. I think it's a really interesting thing that he does and an interesting method that he has as well. I would highly suggest checking out Panico. It's a documentary about Dario Argento
Okay.
and his whole process in general, and it is amazing. Also, Cavity Colors is releasing a Dario Argento collection for the first time ever, which so stoked. Oh my God, I'm stoked.
Well, yeah, I'm definitely excited to check out more movies after this one. Um, and then just the the metal music. Oh my God, that was my what the fuck moment. It was the boyfriend kill. The music just threw me right off, but it was like an adrenaline rush. I was like,
Yeah.
this is awesome.
Yeah.
And then when it happened again, I'm like, no way are they gonna keep doing this. So I actually really enjoyed the soundtrack. And thank you for saying it was dubbed because I was talking to Brendan and I'm like, is this dubbed? Because the whole movie was throwing me off, but the mouths were still moving properly. And I'm like, I
Yeah.
was so confused.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely dubbed. He and once again, he doesn't have to do this. That's like an Italian thing. That was just like an Italian art form back in that time when
Okay.
they didn't have to do it anymore, but they just kept doing it. It was just more so like a calling card.
Okay.
Okay.
Good to know. Um, Cinematography.
Ooh, phenomenal.
Yeah,
Like
like
I think all of us kind of agreed pretty early on that the cinematography was just very, very well done, almost like its own character in its own right. It was just the way we follow so many pieces and aspects of this movie when it comes to how people are killed or how we want to add a little bit more tension and dramatic flair to certain things with the close-ups of the eyes and the shimmers across like the top bridge of the nose and on the portions of the eyebrows. Really, really cool for us to kind of see that aspect done very well in such a cinematic light because of the cinematography. But I feel like we would be doing a disservice if we are not talking about the bullet through the peephole.
yes.
Yeah.
Bullet through the peephole. That whole scene is so amazingly well done to me, where he's showing the badge. She's like, that could be a fake. Like, no, show me your face again. Like, let me see your face. Wait, I know who you are. He brandishes the gun. He's like, well, look, I have a police issue gun. And then show me your face. Boom. Oh my God, the way the bullet just goes through and it's so well done to where it pops out of her eye and it hits the phone before she could even call the cops. What? How incredible. Like, what a goddamn scene. And the way it was done was so amazing. I'm happy it was in slow motion. It was our first kill in slow motion as well in this movie. So all in all, just fantastic in the way the cinematography paints the rest of this movie. So well done. It's almost a movie that if you didn't have any of the sound or anything like that, it probably would still be just as effective just because of how well done the cinematography is in this movie.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I know you talked about the gun. I got to talk about the heartbeat matching up with the
Oh
sound, and
yeah.
it,
And
I
it
don't,
vibrates.
yeah,
Yeah.
the most innovative thing I think I've ever seen. I could not get any more into the movie once that happened. I'm like, I am sucked right in. Um, there's incredible unbroken POV shots in this movie that are just
Yes.
outstanding. That he just runs through the whole building and it doesn't break. There's no other shaky moments in it. It's just very beautifully well done. You have the Raven's Eye at the beginning of the opening titles, which I thought was really cool.
Yeah.
This movie is just fantastic, and I noticed that there wasn't because I know you were saying Argento has a lot of color in his movies, and I didn't even knowing never seen any of the other ones. I did notice that there wasn't a lot of color in this movie.
Yeah.
I
It's
was
a
just like,
very desaturated movie
yeah,
for
like
sure.
I think there was two scenes. I think it was during the chase, um, where it was Betty and him through her apartment, where there was actually some different colored lightings, like some greens and a little bit
Yeah,
of pink.
greens and like a little bit of pinkish blue. Yeah.
Yeah, that was the only time I noticed it in the whole movie. But
There was
um,
a scene when he was walking into the house to, I don't think it was Betty. I think it was a different girl in the bed and the whole thing was blue.
Oh, blue.
okay,
Hmm.
Yeah, I
yeah,
like that.
yeah, but yeah, like we've all been saying, this movie is incredibly well shot.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I like how much the camera moves, like even in the beginning when I guess it was Mira yelling at everyone and the camera's just
Mm.
following her and like you don't actually see her, but it's oh, I love that. And then when the little girl comes through the vent and calls Betty and
Mm.
the camera just spins upside down, felt almost like Evil Dead in a way,
Yeah,
just how much it's moving and spinning and stuff. But yeah, I it looks awesome. It's very entertaining. Favorite costumes and outfits.
Ooh, I would say my favorite costume in this movie would probably have to be the killer. I liked how simple it was, but I like the double glove. It kind of reminded me of like it just reminded me of a cop trying to be like extra careful. So I was just like, yeah, that's cop behavior. I can see that. But like it is interesting when they had the double gloving and then the sack mask as well was really cool. And the reason why I really like the sack mask is because it only had one hole for an eye. Didn't have both holes for an eye, and it's just something creepier about that. just like having one hole to see out of. I'm just like, damn, that's pretty good. Like that's kind of scary. Um, I also have to admit, and we haven't talked about it yet, but this is I wouldn't say a costume per se, but it's more of a cosmetic choice. But the pins under the eyes,
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
wow, the pins under the eyes. Oh my God. To me, that was probably what I thought was just so incredibly innovative and well done. And you could feel it in that moment. Every
Mhm.
time he put the pins over an eyes, it was just like, dude, damn. Like, oh my God. When he first pulled it out and it was like he was peeling it off the thing, you're kind of thinking, like, where are you gonna put those? And as soon as it closes up on the eye, I was like, oh shit. Okay. That's where it's going. Cool. All right. I'm in. I'm in. Like that to me is just so incredibly well done. It was brutal. It was mean. It was just something that you just wouldn't expect. And I feel like, to me personally, when it comes to like horror, that goes in more of the torture type of phase, none of them have topped this for me because to me that is just that it to me is torture. Like I'm going to force you to keep your eyes open, but instead of me putting a machine like in Clockwork Orange over your eyes to keep your eyes open, which is torturous enough, I'm going to base it off of your will. Kind of reminds me of John Kramer, right? And Saw. Like this is your own willpower will allow you to either get cut or not. And it's just, oh, damn, dude. Like it's so well done and her crying the blood and it's just fuck, man. Like I to me, like that alone was just so well done, so innovative, so creepy. And I haven't seen anything like that ever since. Like this is the only thing that has had that type of guttural response for me.
Um, I'm not really good with this category, but I did like the opera outfits that everybody Betty got to wear and everybody got to wear. They're just like super, you know,
They're like gladiator.
yeah, like the
Yeah,
gold.
there's the gold. Yeah.
Yeah, which I really digged. I just thought it was different, and I've never seen anything like it.
Yeah. Very
Yeah.
Roman Empire.
Yeah,
I actually wrote down the opera outfits as well, the gold and the black, and then her gold headpiece she had on.
yeah,
Yeah.
But I agree with the needles on the eyes. Oh my God.
yeah.
I I felt like I blinked more watching that because I was like my eyes felt like they were drying out because I'm like I can blink, I'm okay. And my sister walked by actually at one of those scenes and she looked at my phone and was like, "Oh my God." She doesn't watch horror movies, so she's like, "I'm gonna have nightmares."
The perfect person to walk in on that moment.
Yes.
Perfect person.
Memorable lines.
Ooh. I think it would probably just be the run, Betty, run.
Yeah.
like that'd probably be the most memorable for me. I don't really have too many that I would say stuck out in this movie, even though it's a very heavily dialogue filled movie. Nothing really stood out in terms of like lines.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's fair.
It's okay.
It's not quotable like Bride of Chucky or
Exactly. Yeah.
yeah. I did write down a few, did you?
I did too. Yeah, I might as well found some that I liked.
Okay.
I liked "You'll Be a Baby Lady." I don't know what that is, but I just laughed.
Okay.
I had no idea what a baby lady is. But
Well, she's gonna be one.
yeah.
I wrote down it's the opera. Macbeth brings bad luck.
Mhm.
Mm, Let's go on. It's a real go on.
Let's see. I have you have an amazing voice and you're very beautiful and you're making your debut in the great theater. Don't throw it away.
Yeah.
Mm.
Okay.
Pressure was on.
This one's kind of funny. According to a legend, opera singers are incredibly horny. They say they make love before they go on stage.
Yep.
I was
Yep.
like, oh, really? Tell me
I
more.
like how she brings that one back too. She's just like, apparently we're really horny, and we like, like I was like, oh my god.
Yeah, with the director, and he's like, "Yeah, I rub one out before every shot or something like that."
Yeah.
And it's like, what? What just happened?
Where are we going with this?
Do you have any more?
Yes, I have one more, which I thought was just as terrifying. It's I could take you wherever and whenever I want.
Mm,
Yeah,
yeah.
good ones. Should have wrote mine down. Those are all really good.
I just have two more. I have whenever women have a problem, men always presume it's love. That was Betty in the car. And
Yeah.
then I have you're disgusting. You're always naked. That was the little girl to her mom.
Oh,
You hear her in the
Yeah, the
background.
door's closed and everything. It's just like,
I laugh
you're
so hard.
disgusting. You're always naked.
Like, damn.
Shots fired.
Did you guys have any lines disliked? I didn't write anything down for that.
No.
nope, I don't either.
No? Okay. What's your favorite kill?
Oh. Uh, Besides the gun, I would say the first kill with the boyfriend,
Yeah.
stage manager. That was just classic slasher style kill, something that you wouldn't expect to be so brutal with him trying to hold his hands up to block the knife and it's still going into his hands. Like, dude did not care whatsoever that he was trying to shield himself. But mainly based off of when we first see him stab him right through the neck and it goes through his mouth and you can see it in his mouth. What? Like, it's so incredibly well done. And it, I, in some ways, like it puts some slashers to shame when it comes to how to utilize a knife in a slasher movie. Like there's so many different ways for you to make this even more terrifying than what it is. And Argento was able to do that in such an artistic way. So I love that kill. I think that kill really sets us up for what else is to transpire in this movie.
Yeah, that was my favorite for sure too. It actually took me off guard. Well, the music obviously did, but
Of course. Yeah.
like you said, seeing it in his mouth and it just like wiggling around in there, I was like,
Yeah.
that just happened. Like I don't have that reaction a lot anymore in slashers, like sometimes, but like I was like,
Yeah.
wow, okay. And yeah, that was the best, hands down.
Yes, I
That's
definitely
nuts.
same here. Favorite kill. Unfortunately, I feel like they like besides the gun, I feel like they really blew their load with this first
They
kill
did.
because
Yeah,
Yeah.
as
they did.
afterwards, I'm not gonna say they got any. They just couldn't live up to the height after this kill because it was so jarring, so shocking. You weren't expecting him to tie, I wasn't expecting him to tie her up and make her watch. Like I had
Oh,
no
sure.
I had never seen, I didn't read a synopsis on this movie. I
I
didn't watch a
did. So
trailer. I had no clue what was going to happen.
yeah.
So I was like, oh, God damn, that sick fucker. Um, but yeah, that's definitely got to be my favorite kill.
Yeah. I didn't write down a least favorite, but do you guys have a least favorite?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think of one.
I w maybe the costume designer, but hers was just kind of it was just like a normal kill. It didn't really
Hmm.
shock me or anything. With the choking and things like that. But eh,
Yeah.
yeah, I still think it was fine.
Yeah. I do have to
Got
say
the job done.
the costume designer I think could have been better.
Yeah, I mean, we had all those shears that they kept showing us. Like,
Yeah,
let's use some of those. Like,
yeah,
let's see what happens with that.
yeah. I wouldn't say that's my least favorite kill either, but
No,
I wished it was better. I'd say like
yeah.
maybe the usher, like, but even his
Uh,
kill at the beginning of the movie is pretty
With the
brutal.
coat hanger
yeah,
through his
the coat
neck.
hanger.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, I
Yeah.
like that one.
yeah.
Yeah. Gore factor and special effects. We've talked about it a lot, but
Great. I feel like this really just kind of sets the tone and the bar for what was to come for this movie. But this movie is extremely gory, especially for its time. Like I feel like in the 80s, like we had a lot of different slasher movies and things like that. Obviously, it was slasher heaven in the 80s for everything pretty much. But for this movie in particular, it was just kind of doing something a tad bit different when it came to their gore. The gore didn't really feel like it was there for shock factor. It felt like it was there to try to create some more type of realism to it. Instead of it just being like, let's just paint the walls red and let's make sure there's blood splatter over here and over here. It really just kind of hunkered down. It was just like, no, if we were to stab someone through the neck upward in an upward motion, it most likely will end up in their mouth because anatomy, right? So it's like it didn't feel like it was just for shock. It felt like it was more so for the fact of creating realism behind these kills. And I thought that was really, really fantastic on how to utilize gore in this movie. It wasn't, no offense to Tom Savini, but it was nothing of like his creations where exploding heads or watermelons and things like that to make these crazy effects. And those are awesome and really cool to look at, but they're pretty unrealistic in terms of like how someone actually would probably get their head blown off, right? So it was really, really cool to kind of see Argento bring some type of realism to his gore. Because yeah, if you're getting stabbed over 20 something odd times, you're most likely gonna bleed a lot. So like, yeah, that makes sense. Right. So yeah, I'm a huge fan of the gore in this movie. Huge
Yeah.
fan.
Yeah, I definitely agree with everything Princess said. I really don't have that much more to add to it. It's all good.
Yeah, I agree. I also liked the killer at the end. His eyeball looked really nasty when it was out and it just like all
Yeah.
split up and it was gross.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of more to add. I
The
do
eyeball's
agree.
great.
Yeah, I do agree when the needles were there and when she cried, how like you saw the blood coming down too. That was really gross. But
Oh,
yeah, you pretty much nailed it. It looks good. It looks great.
looks awesome.
Storyline and pacing.
Um, I would say pacing's very weird in this movie sometimes. There's just certain times in this film where you will be like kind of thinking, wait, where are we? Like, for example, her dream sequences of like, I've seen this guy in my dreams and yada yada yada. And it's just like it looks like the little girl that helped her with like contacts or something. And it's certain pieces like that where it's just like, where are we going with this? But for the most part, I think he got the job done quick enough. I never felt bored, I guess, watching this movie, and I've seen this movie a few times, so I guess for me, I'm a little biased. But with the way when I first saw this movie, I wasn't bored. I guess I remember it being something that kept me on the edge of my seat a little bit and allowing me to want more. Um, but were certain points where I was just like, okay, where are we headed? Where are we headed right now? Like, I'm just trying to figure out where are we going right now. That's it. They're just trying to make sure if the train is still on the rails. Like, just check it. Just check it. If we're getting derailed, hit a choo choo.
Um, I this was like what, an hour 47, I think. Yeah. I
Something
thought
like that. Yeah.
this movie had a lot going on. Like you said, it plays with your senses a lot. So I felt like it kept me entertained. There were a couple scenes that dragged a tiny bit for me. I felt like maybe 10 to 15 minutes could have been chopped off personally, but that's just a personal
I agree.
opinion. I have a hard time with long movies. Always have. But besides that, I thought there was so much going on that I was entertained the whole way through. But yeah, there's just a couple scenes where I'm like, okay, let's move on and do something.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
And then there was one scene I just wanted to point out. I guess it's kind of storyline. When Betty is with her friend and says, "Knives, we can defend ourselves," and her friend grabs a knife and she doesn't. And I think that's another thing that bugged me a bit about Betty. I was like, "Come on, girl, grab a knife! Like, you're just gonna let your friend defend you."
I love how her friend though when she grabs the knife, she's like super confident after that.
Yes,
Don't come in here. We have a knife.
I know. But I just thought, maybe she could grab a knife too.
It'd be nice to have double knives. I'm just saying. Would be nice.
That's all I really have about the storyline and pacing, though.
I think it's fairly well paced. I do agree that there's a few minutes could have been shaved out of this movie for sure, but like we've been saying this whole time, the music, just the way it's shot really keeps you involved in the movie with what's happening. Um, Prince, you brought up the dream sequences. Totally agree with that. I wasn't sure if
Yeah.
she was having a psychic connection with the killer or what was happening there.
Who
Um,
knows? Only
yeah.
Argento.
No, and that really threw me for a loop. Also, I guessed the killer right off the smash as soon as first scene.
Oh,
I wrote
God.
I wrote him down. He was on my first page. It was my first note.
Oh, I
Alan,
did not.
Alan the killer. I put down. Um, I still had my like
Reservations a little bit.
little bit with the director, but that was about it. Everybody else I thought was see, there's no really other male figures introduced into the movie other than those two and the
Mhm.
boyfriend, but the boyfriend's the first to go. So
Hmm.
who really do
Yeah.
you have to pick from?
This
Um,
is this is actually really interesting that you brought that up as well. Because Argento is notorious for having female killers. It's
okay.
Oh.
just one of his things. Deep Red, Suspiria, so on and so forth. Like he's Inferno. He's very well known for having female killers. So when I first watched this, my first intuition was the lady who got replaced.
Oh, that would have
And
been good too. Yeah.
yeah, so it's you get these very unsuspecting people in his films. Deep Red especially. I don't want to give that one away, but Deep Red is a very unsuspected killer. You'd be like, "Holy what?" like
Okay.
so I would suggest Deep Red. One of my that's my one of my that was my third favorite Argento movie. Phenomena is my Phenomena is another one that had a female killer. So yeah, like I'm just not so it's like he's very notorious for that. So if you were to watch his previous films before this one, you would probably suspect someone else just because you know you're watching an Argento movie. But I also did find it a little obvious that the cop was the killer as well. But
Okay.
yeah.
Oh, I didn't.
Oh, really? I was wondering if you did or not.
No, maybe I don't know. I didn't, but okay.
Okay. And I love the Ravens. You talked a lot about that earlier, and I did put down my question. I was like, I have to fact check if they actually hold grudges and stuff, but
Uh,
I didn't,
Yeah.
and you told me that they do, so that's pretty wild.
Yeah. I was look it up. It's super interesting. It's really, really interesting. The crows and ravens are fascinating. Supposedly ravens can also talk, but I don't know how true that is.
I've
But
I've heard that too from a guy at
yeah.
work, but he's one of those people that thinks he knows everything, so
Ah,
you don't
okay.
believe a word he says, but we're gonna have to look
Sorry,
that
Stan.
you can do crow trading too, can't you? Where you put something outside of your
Yeah.
house and they take it and they'll bring something back to you. And if you
Yeah.
keep doing it, they'll keep doing it too, and they might bring you like money one day or something.
So supposedly like you could do that to have them not like throw trash in your yard as well.
Okay.
And you can have them like throw trash in designated spots by placing food in certain areas.
Your neighbor's
And
yard.
them exactly. And them knowing where the food is, they'll just drop off the thing that wasn't eaten and pick up the thing
Oh.
that's eaten next. So that's other things that some people tend to do with crow training. I've never tried. I like crows, but I don't think I would want one to touch me.
No, I'm
Like,
scared of birds.
I don't think I want to get that close to one. But crows and ravens, they have cool clumps of names like Murder of Crows and what is it? What was it called for ravens? A sorrow or something like that? Something like that. A
Okay.
sorrow of ravens, something like that. Now I have to look it up because now I'm curious.
Okay, we're getting into favorite scenes. I think.
Sweet. And unkindness. That's what they're called.
An unkindness of crows.
Oh.
Unkindness. Yeah. Favorite scenes? Is that what we're on?
Yep.
Yeah.
Ooh, I'm a huge fan of the end scene where it's just extremely chaotic and they let the crows free. Um, one what the fuck? Why are you doing this with all these people here and shit? Anyway, but like you let the crows set them free, and it's this one specific crow just like scanning the whole audience group just to single out this one killer, and all the crows are starting to kind of like batch in. And when they start attacking him, I like the fact that he still was like with the shit trying to kill this woman shooting on the stage where he hit someone. He actually hit somebody dressed in white, which also looked really cool and gory, but it was fascinating to just see this aspect of chaos throughout this movie. I loved that scene. I thought that scene was just so much fun. It just icing on the cake to have us kind of have get to our conclusion. So really, really happy with that scene for sure.
Okay.
I have the backstage mayhem because
Oh.
it just brought me back to high school and my drama productions and stuff like that. Like that's what it's just fucking mayhem back there. Nobody else sees it, but that's what it's like. It's awful. So, like I was having anxiety watching it. Like, I'm like, oh my God. Oh, but yeah, I really like those sequences.
Okay.
Uh,
Mine is definitely still the stage manager slash boyfriend kill. Like that is my favorite scene for sure.
Pretty
Um,
stellar kill.
yeah, the scene that you mentioned, Prince, that scene actually made me dizzy watching it. Like just the
That's fair. The
circling.
spiraling.
I actually had to look
Yeah.
away for a minute. I was like, whoa, are we gonna slow down? But I did
Yeah.
really like it still. And then I wrote the end because all these hot cops showed up all of a sudden with Betty.
Yeah.
The two men that start talking to her. I was like, where were they the whole movie?
They were in Switzerland.
They could have been my favorite characters.
I like that
Um,
they all came together even after they handcuffed him. They still like punched him in the face.
oh yeah, they
It's
just
like
like
Jesus.
cop brutality on him, like
yeah.
kept hitting him nonstop.
Yeah.
They're like beating him up, and he's like screaming and shit. Like, it almost made you feel bad, but at the same time, you're just like, you kind of deserve it.
Did you guys have a least favorite scene?
uh, I don't think so. I don't think I had maybe one where the women are like screaming and they're like it's the POV of the killer coming towards them, but it just seems a little out of place
Okay.
compared to everything because we never met these women or anything. But I get it for what it's trying to do. It's trying to introduce the killer into the fold, but it just seemed out of place, and I don't know, just
Okay.
wasn't the biggest. Didn't care for that. Like if it weren't in the movie, it would be fine. We
Okay.
would still have everything we need.
I have that Betty just lets the director get stabbed a shit ton of times and just stands there and kind of watches. Mhm.
Yeah,
Come on, Betty.
yeah, she definitely does that.
She watches and she doesn't grab a knife with her friend, and this is
Nope,
why she's not working for me.
She grabs a rock like 2 minutes later and beats him over the
she
head with
does.
it. Like,
Yeah.
was there not a rock
Okay.
in that field beside you again? I know you knew the cops were around, but why wouldn't you try to, help the guy out?
Yeah.
It just seemed weird. It was almost like she wanted him to die. So she could
Almost.
yeah, so that way she can get away with something. Like, I guess there's a little misdirect there if she's gonna end up being like her mom and wanting this guy to kill for her and her to watch or whatever. But I'm like,
It's almost like that movie, Cry_Wolf. You guys remember that movie from like the early 2000s?
yeah, it's been a while
Yeah.
since I've watched that.
Yeah, I watched
Yeah.
that in high school, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of that a little bit. The female killer plotting, allowing someone else to do her dirty work for them. That was, yeah.
Yeah. I was literally just thinking about that movie today in the car, which is really weird.
Yeah, we covered it on Nightlight recently,
Oh,
actually,
did
like
you?
maybe a few months ago.
I'll have to take a look at
Yeah,
that.
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay. My least favorite scene is the birds getting killed. I'm terrified of
yeah,
birds, but I still felt so bad. I always hate when the animals die in the movies.
yeah. And like I said, when they're handling them, like you could 100% tell, like, okay, they're handling a real bird. They're not handling a doll here. Obviously, with the killing and stuff like that, that was all obviously fake. But
I hope so.
um, It was after the whole fiasco with what's his name? I think it's Didadaro, who did Cannibal
Cannibal
Holocaust.
Holocaust, yeah.
Yeah, Italian directors, they were on a damn near watch list, Italian horror directors, because of him doing that. I'm like,
Yeah.
you asshole, dude. Like, come on, why did you have to kill real animals multiple times, dude? And you still edited it into the cut of the movie. But yeah.
Yeah. Still haven't seen
Spoilers for
that.
Cannibal Holocaust, everyone. I'm
No,
sorry.
no, we knew
Am I
about
like
that
ruined
already.
for anyone trying to watch this movie?
No, I think that's pretty wildly known. Unfortunately.
Yeah.
Our last category is the killer. What do we think of the killer? We've talked about him a bit, but
I like him. I think he's a solid killer. I think his motives is very much on par of like even what's happening today with like fanatics and obscene fans and things like that willing to do because it reminds me of just like if we just replaced Betty with Taylor Swift, it would just be an army of them instead of one, so it's like this fandom is very real. Like toxic fandom is very real, and I think this was a really really interesting thing, especially at this time because we had like a few years after that the gosh, the guy from the Beatles, who was married to Yoko Ono, when he died from his fan. And then, like, so like this still happens. This is still something very prominent that happens, unfortunately, to um celebrities and whatnot, of fans being so dramatically in love with them to the point where it's the concept of like if I can't have you, no one can. Instead of just silently enjoying their work and maybe putting it on Facebook and Twitter, just like I like this person, like cool, great. Let's keep it at that. We don't have to get violent. Like we don't have to do that. But I like that aspect of it because it almost feels a little progressive in some ways for what oh, progressive is not the right word. More of a time capsule, where it feels timeless of what Argento did here because of this unfortunately still being a part of humanistic character, right? So it's interesting, but I like this killer. I think he's very innovative in the way he does things. I also like the director and how I think he's very innovative in how he also tries to catch killers. So yeah,
All right, so that's awesome. I never even really thought about it in that way. Um, how old is this killer? Is my question because like wasn't he doing stuff with her mom when she was just like a little
yeah,
girl? Like dude looks young.
apparently,
I know.
Yeah.
yeah,
I wrote down the last scene. He looked kind of hot.
yeah, yeah.
I'm so deep. But yeah, he was young.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, he looked young for sure.
I was wondering if maybe like the mom had like been grooming him potentially throughout the years and
Maybe. I
then
think she was supposed to be younger than what we're anticipating her to be. She looks older, but I think she's supposed to be like early 20s. Um, but yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
yeah. I think that was my only really question about him. I do like him. I love his little I love his monologues at the end. I like that he fakes his own death to trick her into thinking that she's going to be safe from now on, and then him coming back at the end. I was a little surprised that he didn't get his a big finale death scene. Um,
Yeah.
but whatever he's going to get, he's probably not even going to make it to prison the way those cops were beating on him. So, um, yeah, I liked him. I thought he was good.
Yeah, me too. I like the simplicity of his like costume and um I didn't expect him. Now I kind of want to go back and rewatch it to see what I missed. But
Yeah.
I was definitely leaning more towards the horror director guy. But then again, I thought that might have been too obvious, but um yeah, he's creepy too. Like he laughs when he kills the raven. Like I did not like
Yeah.
Yeah.
that. Like you
Yeah.
are sick, man.
His
Yeah.
voice too, like he had this kind of like
Hmm.
demonic voice changer thing going on. That was really cool.
Yeah. So we do a scary rating out of 10. So what would you rate this movie as a scary rating?
I would say 8.5 scares out of 10.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about you?
I went with a two. I wasn't too frightened throughout this movie. Um, but yeah, it's good still though. I just didn't
Yeah.
find it scary.
I'm going with a four. Didn't find it scary, but every scene with the needles, like I was surprised by how much that actually affected me, actually. Yeah, like I
That's
like felt uncomfortable.
That's why my rating's so high because
Yeah.
like if someone were to kidnap me or force me to watch people die in front of me in that same type of manner, that got my heart pumping for sure. So like
Mhm.
that legitimately scared me. I wouldn't say like scared me to the point where I'm looking over my shoulder or anything. Like I get to sleep just fine at night, but like to the point of if I was in this situation, yeah, that's what kind of got me for sure. I think that's why my score was so high.
Yeah, I definitely put myself in her shoes and was like, would I have been able to keep my eyes open? Like,
I don't
just thinking
know.
about my eyes drying out, and then like she
Yeah.
starts crying. I'm like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, pretty
Um,
insane.
Rewatchability and would you recommend?
Oh yeah, the both. Yeah, I've seen this movie a few times. I haven't counted, but this might be maybe my fourth or fifth time I've seen this movie.
Okay.
So I think it has great rewatchability. I would highly recommend this movie to everyone. I feel like it's the least talked about film from Argento. Usually it's Suspiria, Deep Red. I feel like that's maybe the ones, maybe Tenenbaum as well. Like I feel like that's the most talked about type of movies from him. So I would love to see opera in that conversation a lot more often because I think it is damn good.
Okay.
I'd put yes for rewatchability, and I would recommend. I think foreign films are definitely something that people should be actively seeking out, so that because they're so different from what we're used to. Um,
Yeah.
I'm a high recommender of like South Korean films, so it's nice for us to finally make our debut in an Italian horror. I'm
I
so
know.
excited.
It's
Hell
been a long
yeah.
time coming.
Yeah.
I'm
Um,
excited for y'all to watch more.
Me
This is
too.
awesome.
Rewatchability for me, I am not a big movie rewatcher unless it's a comfort film or like Friday the 13th, 2009. But so I rewatching probably not unless you put it on or something and I sat down with you.
Yeah.
But I'm very excited to get into more of his movies. I do have to say that.
That's
Would I
awesome.
would I recommend 100%? Yeah, because it was like it's not what I expected at all. Like I didn't even know what to expect, but I really enjoyed it.
Awesome.
So final movie rating as a whole, we rate our movies with emojis out of five. So 1 out of 5 is the poop emoji. Then we have eye roll emoji. Then we have the okay emoji, the thumbs up emoji, and a 100 emoji. If you're somewhere in between, you can say a high thumbs up or a low thumbs up. What would you rate this movie?
I would say a high thumbs up. I think this movie's really, really just very, very well done. There are some pieces of it where I'm just like, it's not 100% flawless to me. I do think that movies that have some type of flaws can still reach masterpiece status. So I do think this movie is quite masterpiece, and like masterfully made and things like that. But there are pieces of it that's just slightly holding it back for me to where it's not like a 10 out of 10 or a 5 out of 5 or something like that. But 100% this movie's up there for me.
Okay.
All right. You
You want
want?
me to go?
No, yeah, you go. I'm
Okay.
curious.
I'm going with a solid thumbs up. I had a lot of fun with this movie. It's just a few scenes that dragged a bit. If this was an hour and a half, it probably could have been a low 100 for me.
Nice.
But yeah, I'm just gonna go with a solid thumbs up for right now. Even like the flaws that Betty had that I've been just ripping on her a bit for, were still kind of cheesy in a fun way, like the whole knife thing and whatever. Like I still had some fun with that. So that's not
Nice.
a deterrent for me.
It's fair. It's fair.
I'm actually also going with a thumbs up. I knew you would like this movie after the first kill when I watched it. I'm like, I cannot believe she's not watching this with me right
Yeah,
now.
we watched separate.
Um, but yeah, I think like what Sam said, I think that there's some pacing issues here and there. Betty is, I don't know if it's the line she's given or the direction that she's giving, but she just kind of feels off. Also, I understand you're saying that the dubbing is a kind of like the standard or whatever, but it kind of just threw me off at the
Throws you
beginning.
off. Yeah.
Yeah, and kept throwing me off. Like sometimes I'd forget about it, but then it'd be right back in, right back, brought back in. Excuse me. But as for like, it was so close for me to being 100 because of like how incredibly creative the camera work is and the
Yeah.
scores and stuff like that. But unfortunately, it just couldn't reach that level for me. So I'm giving it a solid thumbs up.
Overall, good ratings though.
Yeah,
Hell
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. All
Glad
right.
y'all liked
Yeah, I'm glad you picked
it.
it. We'll get into some fun facts. Apologies, Prince. You're a big fan. You might know a lot of these, but
No worries.
all right. The idea of the pins under the eyes torture device came from a joke of Argento's. Argento said it would annoy him when people would look away during the scary scenes in his films. He would jokingly suggest taping pins under people's eyes so they couldn't look away in the film. It would later materialize on the screen for this film.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that sick bastard.
I like it though.
Yeah.
According to star Urbano Barberini, it would take hours for everyone to recapture the crows after they were released in the opera house for filming. Around 140 crows were used, but only 60 some were ever retrieved. The others apparently escaped from the opera house during filming. Bye-bye.
You're free.
In the book Profondo Argento, Dario Argento cited star Christina Marcelash as the most difficult actress he has ever worked with.
Probably wasn't getting her dubbing right.
I was gonna try and Google why, but then it slipped my mind. Orion, the American distributor of the film, wanted Argento to cut the final scenes in the Swiss countryside out of the film, but he refused. Many mishaps on set, including the death of one of the actors, led director Dario Argento to believe that the Macbeth curse also struck during the making of this film, which I forgot to
Yeah.
look up what happened. Do you know what happened?
I don't know what happened.
Okay.
But it's like notorious that someone died on set for this
It's
movie.
wild.
Yeah, it's pretty weird. I'm surprised this movie didn't make it into that documentary Cursed Films. Because there's supposedly
Oh,
were like a lot of weird things that happened on this set.
okay. Yeah, there's another one actually that I have in here somewhere, but where did I leave off? The character of Marco, the horror director turned opera director, was based off Dario Argento himself. Um, this is the other weird fact. During the filming, Ian Charleson got into a minor car accident and was hospitalized for a week, where after having some medical tests done, he was diagnosed being HIV positive, a condition which he had suspected himself to be for nearly a year prior to filming. That's some bad luck too.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially in the
Um,
80s. Jeez.
yeah. All right, I got three more. Originally, Columbia Pictures intended to release the film theatrically in Germany in 1988, but after the FSK, official German censorship, demanded to cut out almost 25 minutes, mostly violence, it was released straight to VHS, even though a theatrical release has already been announced.
They wanted to cut out the whole opening scene of that dude getting killed with a knife. Like they wanted to cut that whole thing out. They just wanted to
Ugh.
skip past all of that. I was like, that's the setup. Can't cut that out.
Yeah.
Yeah. They just wanted it to where it was just the sound effects and you just saw her with the pins.
Oh,
I was like,
lame.
yeah, I'm like, that sucks. Show me the goods. Come on, stop
Yeah, I
playing
know.
me.
All of William McNamara's lines were dubbed by an English actor. He was upset when he saw the movie and realized that he'd been dubbed, but said he should have realized something was up when there was no boom mic operator on set when he was filming. And last one was among the VHS tapes that can be seen in Betty's movie collection are copies of Silkwood, Purple Rain, Blade Runner, A Few Dollars More, and Hell Night 1981.
Hell yeah.
Yeah,
Nice.
that's all I got. So next week, I have a solo episode
Oh yeah, you're kicking me
without you.
out.
I'm kicking you out and I'm bringing
Yeah.
my friends in.
There you go.
And because I'm so deep, we're doing a top 5 list of horror heartthrobs.
Yes. I
with
love
my
it.
with my friends Jess, Miki, and Kayla. So I'm excited.
That's gonna be awesome. The Himbo podcast. I love it.
But thank you so much for joining us.
Thank
This
you.
was
Thank you for
awesome.
having me. This was
Yeah.
amazing. This was so much fun. I very much like over the moon right now. This was a lot of fun to talk about this movie with you guys.
Awesome. And stay tuned for the after hours. If you're on our Patreon, we're going to do that as well. And do you want to plug your accounts and everything one last time?
Yeah, absolutely. Once again, you can find me on Twitter or X at theheadknight. I'm mainly on there. If you want to kind of chat with me or talk movies or whatever, you can find me on there. You can also find me on Nightlight, a horror movie podcast. That's Night with a K.
Awesome.
Awesome.
Well,
Uh,
plug us out.
yep, I sure do. We are Our Life in Horror, and you can find us on Instagram, TikTok, and X. We have a Patreon where we do bonus episodes, after hours episodes, and polls. We also have a Discord where everybody can come and chat and have a good time. We are also on YouTube now, so go ahead, like, subscribe, share these videos with whoever you can. What else do we have? We have an email. Oh my God, we have so many things. Our Life in Horror at hotmail.com, and you can send us movie suggestions if you want to come on and be a guest, whatever you want, if you just want to chat.
And also on Saturday, is it the 13th this Saturday?
Yes.
Okay. We are doing a live trivia horror night on our YouTube channel at 8 p.m. EST. And we are going to have four contestants. We have Aubrey from Killing Time Podcast and Core 4 Podcast. We have Jay and Craig from Sinister Screen Podcast. And we have Bo from Critic After Dark on Instagram. They're going to be playing trivia to win a prize. All right. Thanks for listening, everybody, and stay spooky.